Ever wondered why the quality of a video changes when you stream it online, or why some videos allow you to interact with them while others don't? Well, it all comes down to multimedia terms. The digital age has brought with it a surge of technological advancements, each with its own language. Multimedia terminology is a part of this language, a collection of terms that describe how we create, share, and engage with digital content. Understanding these terms is like having a map in the vast landscape of multimedia. It helps us navigate through different forms of digital content, whether it's a video, a game, or even a simple text message. Over the years, as technology has advanced, so too has the language that describes it. This evolution of multimedia terminology mirrors the evolution of how we interact with digital content. Consider, for instance, the term multimedia. A couple of decades ago, multimedia was a term used to describe the use of various media types in one platform, such as text and images on a web page. But today, multimedia encompasses much more. It's a broad term that refers to the combination of text, graphics, sound, animation, and video delivered to us through electronic or digitally manipulated means. Another term, interactivity, has also undergone a transformation. In the early days of the internet, interactivity was limited. It meant clicking on hyperlinks or filling out online forms. But with advances in technology, interactivity now refers to a user's ability to control content, such as playing video games or interacting with virtual reality environments. These are just two examples of how multimedia terms have evolved over time, reflecting the changes in technology and how we use it. Having a grasp of these terms not only helps us understand the world of multimedia better, but also allows us to make the most of the technological tools at our disposal. Now that we understand why these terms matter, let's dive into some core multimedia terms. Let's start with multimedia. What comes to mind when you hear this term? Well, multimedia is a combination of text, graphics, sound, animation, and video delivered to the user by electronic or digitally manipulated means. Imagine a web page with a catchy headline, stunning images, an engaging video, and a soundtrack that sets the mood. That's multimedia in action. It's all about creating a dynamic and immersive experience, one that appeals to multiple senses. Next, we have interactivity. This term refers to the ability of a system to communicate with a user and vice versa. In multimedia, it's the user's ability to control content. Think about the last time you watched a video on your smartphone. You could pause, play, rewind, or fast forward at your convenience, couldn't you? That's interactivity for you. Now let's delve into linear multimedia. This term describes multimedia elements played in a set sequence without user interaction. A cinema presentation is a perfect example of linear multimedia. You sit back and enjoy the movie as it unfolds, scene by scene, without any control over the sequence. On the contrary, non-linear multimedia is not restricted to a predetermined sequence and can be controlled by the user. Video games are a classic example of non-linear multimedia. You can choose your game character, decide their actions, and even alter the storyline. Your decisions shape the game, making each playthrough a unique experience. Moving on, we have bitrate. This term is quite technical but essential. It refers to the number of bits processed per unit of time, determining the quality and size of audio or video files. For example, a high bit rate means more data is processed every second, resulting in better audio or video quality but larger file size. Then we have the codec, a program to encode or decode a digital data stream or signal. It's crucial for compressing and decompressing multimedia files. Let's break it down. When you download a movie, the file is compressed to reduce its size for quicker download. When you play the movie, the file is decompressed to its original quality. This compression and decompression are handled by the codec. Lastly, let's talk about streaming. This term refers to playing media in real time directly from the internet without needing to download the entire file first. Ever watched a video on YouTube or a show on Netflix? That's streaming. The media content is continuously received and presented to you while being delivered by the provider. With this, we have covered the core multimedia terms, but we often come across some common jargons. Let's clarify those. Ever been confused between pixel and resolution or frame rate and bit rate? Let's clear that up. First up, we have pixel and resolution. A pixel, short for picture element, is the smallest unit of a digital image or graphic. Imagine it as a tiny square of color. Now, when you group millions of these tiny squares together, you get an image, and that's where resolution comes in. Resolution refers to the amount of detail an image holds, which is often represented by the width and height in pixels. So, when you hear someone say, "This image is 1920 by 1080 pixels," they're talking about the resolution. Next, let's talk about frame rate and bit rate. Now, these two terms are often used interchangeably, but they mean very different things. Frame rate, often measured in frames per second or FPS, is the number of frames displayed per second in animations or videos. A higher frame rate means smoother motion in the video. On the other hand, bit rate is the number of bits processed per unit of time, often measured in kilobits or megabits per second. It determines the quality and size of audio or video files. A higher bit rate generally means better quality, but it also means a larger file size. So while frame rate affects how smooth your video looks, bit rate affects the overall quality of the video or audio. By understanding the difference between these terms, you can better navigate the world of multimedia. Whether you're tweaking your video settings for the perfect gameplay or optimizing your video for streaming, knowing what each term means can give you a lot more control over your multimedia experience. And remember, the world of multimedia is vast and ever-changing. New terms are being introduced all the time as technology advances. So, keep learning, keep exploring, and you'll never be left behind. Understanding these terms will help you have a better grasp of multimedia content, be it for creating or consuming. Let's take a quick recap of what we've discussed today. We started off with an introduction to multimedia terminology, emphasizing the importance of understanding these terms to fully grasp the world of multimedia. We highlighted how these terms have evolved with technological advancements, reflecting the dynamic nature of this field. We then dived into core multimedia terms. We began with multimedia, which is the combination of text, graphic, sound, animation, and video delivered to the user through electronic or digitally manipulated means. We then explored interactivity, the ability of a system to communicate with a user and vice versa, allowing the user to control the content. We differentiated between linear multimedia, where multimedia elements play in a set sequence without user interaction, like a cinema presentation, and non-linear multimedia, which isn't restricted to a predetermined sequence and can be controlled by the user, much like video games. Then, we touched upon bitrate, the number of bits processed per unit of time, which determines the quality and size of audio or video files. We also discussed codec, a program that encodes or decodes a digital data stream or signal, playing a crucial role in compressing and decompressing multimedia files. Lastly, we talked about streaming, the process of playing media in real time directly from the internet, without the need to download the entire file first. We finished off by clarifying common jargons, differentiating between pixel and resolution, and frame rate and bit rate. We learned that a pixel is the smallest unit of a digital image, while resolution refers to the amount of detail an image holds. Frame rate is the number of frames displayed per second in animations or videos, and as we previously discussed, bit rate is concerned with the number of bits processed per unit of time. With this, we come to the end of our video. We hope this has helped you understand multimedia terms better. Stay tuned for more such informative content.